Здравствуйте! Приветствую вас на онлайн-выставке Russia Travel Hub. Весь сегодняшний день
Good morning. I welcome you at the online exhibition Russian Travel Hub, and today will be dedicated to the tourist Russia. My name is Alexei. In my life I visited more than 90 countries, but it is with great pleasure that I travel around Russia. Russia is a huge country, and in 46 years I was able to visit most of the regions out of its 85 regions. In each region there is something unique. Natural sites, cultural sites, and remembering about any country, for example France, we always have pictures in our mind of the castles of Loire or vineyards. Thinking about the United States, we think of the New York skyscrapers or Disneyland. As for Russia, you probably have pictures of Red Square, St. Petersburg palaces, the churches of the small towns of the Golden Ring. But now we have new pictures that showcase Russia, and maybe it's time to travel across this beautiful country. We chose 7 very interesting locations for you. You know some of them. Some others will be a real discovery for you, and you probably didn't even hear about them. We will start with Russia, with Moscow. Over the past 10 years, our capital has dramatically changed. It became much more interesting, and it became a much better location. We will start with one of those locations, the Zaradia Park, and Yevgeny Matyushkin, the leading guide of this park, will tell us more about it. Good morning, my name is Yevgenia. I'm happy to welcome you here at today's forum. I will tell you about the Zaradia Park. Actually, Zaradia is one of the youngest parks in Moscow over the past 50 years. It was opened recently, and over the past 4 years it has become a trademark and a shop window of Moscow. Right now the park is located in a place where there was nothing just some time ago. The area is just 10 hectares, and the main principle is wild urbanism or natural urbanism. The idea is to merge nature and architecture without any boundaries. This park is divided into different landscapes, showcasing different areas of Russia, such as fields, forests, and so on. And there is very developed infrastructure within this park. Zaradia Park. This park has received some awards just 1 year after it was opened. For example, in 2018, it was published as one of the top 100 visited places in the world. And in the same year, the Arc Daily magazine included this park in its award list as the most visited facility or location in terms of architecture, because it's a very innovative park. There are also awards involving architecture, engineering. We got another award in 2019, and there was another award involving the multimedia projects of the park, such as the Innovation Award and also the Time Machine. And I will tell you more about it. There is also the flight attraction. Actually, it's a kind of a flying cinema with a moving platform with a 12-meter sphere screen, which can help you really get involved in the flight process. While flying like a bird, you can look over different parts of Moscow. We have slide 1 that's soaring over Moscow, and we have also another project soaring over Russia. Some special effects are used. There are even smells, and there is a wind generator, there is a vibration in the platform, so that gives you an effect of turbulence. When you are soaring over Russia, you can actually see the Eye-Petri mountain. So you have this fully immersive flight effect. Specialists from Canada and Austria developed this project, such as Kraftwerk from Austria. You soar over the Zaradye Park, over the roofs of a Bolshoi Theater. And you can see many other things as well. And furthermore, you have natural reserves, which you can enjoy. Not each one of us has the possibility to travel because of some restrictions, because of the lack of time. And then you can actually see those parks from our platform. The Russian Geographic Society helped us enjoy those parks. You can enjoy the delta of the Volga, for example, and you will see all of that as you fly over Russia, as part of this Soaring over Russia project. Those flights are probably the most popular media centers of the park. They were opened in 2018 when the park was opened, and actually this is the most visited attraction. More than 235,000 visitors were part of the Soaring over Moscow project. As for Soaring over Russia project, more than 227,000 visitors were there. And of course, traveling over Russia, soaring over Russia is an even more amazing thing, because the Moscow visitors already saw the capital, but maybe not the entire Russia. As for this media complex, we have another one, Media Hall 360. There is the time show there, which demonstrates how Moscow developed over the past hundreds of years. This park was opened at the anniversary of Moscow when it turned 870 years, and the time machine aims to show how the city changed from the Kievan Rus to the modern Russia. The park is called Zaradye, after one of the oldest districts of Moscow. And the time machine shows this region and how its infrastructure changed throughout this lengthy period. Along with the time machine, here are some more slides from the time machine film, and there are some beautiful pictures that Geographic Society helped us take. There is a film that is called Russia Virtual Trip. Thanks to that film, we can continue soaring over Russia, and you can look at the sides of the country from above. And here, thanks to this 360 degrees rotation, you seem to be located within the screen. What is it about? It's a 360 degrees screen. It's an interactive hall. And it seems to you that you are in a specific place or location, and there is this effect of virtual presence. As a result, you can find yourself in the delta of the Volga River, or you can find yourself on top of the Caucasus Mountains. And furthermore, there are storytellers who tell you the narratives and give you some more interesting information. As for the park's other projects involving the studies of Russia, we have a great project called Florarium. Specialists from the Polyanskaya Design Bureau helped us establish this unique experimental greenhouse. You can go around it or get inside. What does it look like? Here we have a great collection of the most valuable and rare plants of Russia, and we call it Florarium Root Russia. It consists of collections of plants from all parts of Russia. They are growing in the special phyto boxes. Each phyto box is a special box where the most common plant of a particular region is showcased. All the plants are alive, and you can actually get to know them. All those plants are grown through the aeroponics method. There are metal boxes with pipes, and there is a special solution with minerals and vitamins that goes to the roots of those plants. Since Florarium is an open infrastructure, you can see the sunlight getting on those plants, and they seem to be growing like in natural conditions. When there is little light, there are special lamps that switch on. They emit ultraviolet light, and that helps the plants keep growing as if they were in a natural environment. Some of the plants represented in Florarium are grown by aeroponics methods for the first time. For example, this is some kind of moss that is brought from the northern part of Russia, and for our colleagues it was an interesting experiment. So that was the Florarium, and we have another interesting part of the project, the ice cave. It's one of the most popular objects in Zaryadye. It was developed by a design bureau, and the ice cave looks like a big installation by artist Ponomarov and architect Kozyrev. They kind of established a real cave, and you can enter this cave the whole year round. The roof and the walls of the cave are covered with ice crystals, and you can enjoy this beauty and grandeur of the nature of northern Russia. The temperature is from -7 to -10 degrees all the time there. So even in summer you can find yourself in winter conditions. As you get in, you are given coats so that you can feel a northern explorer. I have little time. I also mentioned that we also have a botanical collection in our park. And this botanical variety came from different parts of Russia, and you can enjoy different plants in Russia, even plants from meadows or southern regions of Russia, And you can see those plants the whole year round because the plants are growing by themselves in real natural conditions. So it's not just a park, but actually it's a real botanical collection in the historical part of the city. Thank you for your attention and looking forward to seeing you at Zaradia Park. Thank you very much, Evgenia. Zaradia is a wonderful location. I love going there. And my favorite thing is to take a photo in Zaradia. And it looks like being in the country, even though you are in the center of the city. And Zaradia is great to understand what parts of Russia you would like to visit. And we move on to the northern part of Russia, the northern capital of Russia, St. Petersburg. You can get to St. Petersburg by plane within 1 hour or by train in 3 or 4 hours. Or you can drive by using the great new motorway. Or actually, you can use a cruise ship. So there are actually 4 ways to get from Moscow to St. Petersburg. And I think that in a couple of years you will be able to get from Moscow to St. Petersburg by bike. Of course, St. Petersburg is beautiful. There are well-known names like the Hermitage or the well-known Peterhof. And I also invite you to turn your attention to the St. Petersburg Railway Museum. Let's see.
Дорогие друзья, добрый день, скорее еще утро.
Dear
Очень с
friends,
большим энтузиазмом,
good
надеждой
afternoon or maybe good
приветствую
morning.
вас
It is with
в
great
студии
enthusiasm and
наших
hope
гостей, что расположены в
that I welcome
Санкт-Петербурге.
you on behalf of Russian
Уважаемые
Railways
ребята,
located in St.
вы с вами только
Petersburg,
что пролетели
as
нашу
said by our distinguished
международную музею
moderator.
и
We
музей
just
действительно уникальной
went around our
совершенно
museum on a
истории, потому
high-speed
что
drone,
он
and
крайне
this
молод,
museum
но
has a
уже
unique
пользуется очень
history. It is
популярностью
very
как
young,
среди
but
российских
it
туристов,
is
и
already very
особенно далеко
popular
среди петербуржцев. Ну и надеюсь, что
Russian
недавно
tourists and
туристы
St.
тоже только
Petersburg's
откроются
guests. And
границы,
I hope that foreign
выберут
tourists,
наш
as soon
музей
as
одним из
the
своих
borders open up,
любимых,
will
потому что
choose our
Эрмитаж,
museum
Петергоф,
as one of their
все вот эти
favorite ones
треугольники,
because
как вы
there is
знаете,
the
в
Hermitage,
Санкт-Петербурге,
there is
действительно
Peterhof,
золотой треугольник.
and
Это,
the
конечно, место обязательное к
so-called
посещению, но
tourist
в Петербурге вы
Golden
можете увидеть
Triangle
какие-то новые места,
is
достойные
something you
восхищения, достойные
must visit.
визиты,
But there
достойные
are other
внимания.
places
И
in St.
полагаю, что
Petersburg
наш музей железной
which
дороги
are
России является одной из именно тех
worth
точек. Если мне
admiring
позволят
and
запустить
paying
презентацию, то будет
attention to.
замечательно.
So I
И,
would like
собственно,
to
с вами,
switch
наверное,
on my
будет более
slides,
предметно уже разговаривать,
and
потому что
then I
в
will
любом
tell
случае
you
нужна конкретика для того, чтобы
with
можно
more
было
details
смотреть и
about this place because
запоминать
of course we
какие-то
need
цифры,
some
какие-то данные
concrete
и,
details
ну и,
so that you
собственно,
can
моменты,
remember some
связанные с
numbers
нашим
and
музеем.
some
Ну, собственно,
aspects
дорогие
involving
друзья,
our
давайте
museum.
начнем с самого
Dear
главного, потому
friends,
что это крайне
let
важно.
us start
Музей
with the most
расположен в
important thing.
центре Санкт-Петербурга.
The
Я сейчас
museum is located in the
подчеркиваю
center
главный, потому
of
что
St.
центр
Petersburg.
Петербурга, конечно, для большинства это
Actually,
район Невского проспекта и Дворцовой
for
площади, музей
most people,
расположен
the
чуть-чуть
center of
ниже
St.
по
Petersburg
траектории,
is the
но на
Nevsky
самом деле
Prospect.
это
We are a
примерно
little bit
15
further
минут
away,
на
but it's
машине
about
по
15 minutes
пробкам,
by
так что я думаю,
car.
что жители больших городов
Even
понимают прекрасно,
during
насколько это
traffic
располагается
jams, I
близко.
think
15
that
минут на машине от
people
Эрмитажа.
from big
И
cities
хотите,
understand that
если чуть-чуть
we
найти
are
правильный
really
ракурс и
near the
выглянуть
Hermitage, just
бы из
15 minutes
домов, то
driving by
можно
car.
увидеть
And
Успенский собор. А те, кто бывал в
you can
Петербурге,
also
увидят
see the
совершенно точно, потому что
St. Isaac's Cathedral.
очень
And
близкое
those of
очень
you who've
расположение.
been to St. Petersburg
Хочу обратить
understand
ваше
that the
внимание на
location
то,
is
что
very
у нас
convenient.
есть своя собственная огромная парковка на 10 автобусов или 50
And
машин.
I would like to add that we have a huge
Это безусловный плюс, потому что вы
parking
прекрасно знаете, каждый
location
раз возникает
for
огромный
dozens
проблем,
of cars
где же запарковать
because
машину. Но
those
это
who
чуть-чуть
live
детали, а
in
теперь
city
давайте, наверное,
know
вернемся к нашему
that
музею.
there is
Лучшим
always a lot of
оборудованным,
difficulty
современным,
parking a car.
интерактивным
But
научно-техническим
those are
пространством в
small
мире. Так
details.
тоже себя
And now I would
позиционирует
like to
правительство
offer
«Светлое
you this
существование».
the
Ну, я
best,
думаю,
huge,
наблюдая
modern,
полет
interactive
прекрасного
space in the
героя,
world.
о
This
чем
is
вы
how we
говорите,
position
вы вполне
ourselves.
себе ощутили
You
масштаб
just
эмоций.
saw
Но
the
все-таки
flight
чуть цифр. 57 тысяч
from
квадратных
the
метров– это
high-speed
общая площадь
drone,
музея.
but there are some numbers.
3,5
57,000
тысяч
square meters. That's the total area
экспонирования
of the
и
museum.
118
3,500
участников,
items
19
and
выпускного
118,
состава.
well, actually it's
И
already
поверьте мне,
119
такими цифрами
railway
может
artifacts and rolling
похвастаться, ну,
stock
наверное, пожалуй,
units.
только один единственный музей, что расположен
And
в Нью-Йорке.
actually
Ну,
just
ему, в
one
общем,
museum in New York
наверное,
can
так и должно,
have
так и
similar
следовало бы,
numbers.
да, такими цифрами располагать, потому что он старейший,
Of
но
course,
он
New York Museum should
является
boast such numbers
гордостью,
because it's the
локомотивом
oldest
научно-технического
museum
потому что
and it's
действительно
one of the
существует очень давно. А
best
мы
known
существуем совсем
locomotive
недавно, как я
museums in the
сказала.
world, but
Мы
it's a very old museum,
нам вот
and
совсем
we
недавно,
are a
когда
very
исполнилось
new
4 года.
museum.
Ну и
We
наш
turned
девиз
4 years on the 30th of
развивать,
October,
впечатлять
and our
и
motto
вдохновлять.
is to
Это, наверное,
develop,
действительно не просто
to
слова,
amaze, and to
потому что
inspire.
мы
And these
активно
are
очень
not
внедряемся
just
в жизнь, ну и просто петербуржцев,
high-flown words,
туристов, все время
because
проводим
we
какие-то
are
конкурсы,
actively becoming part of St.
пытаемся
Petersburg's
возбудить
life.
максимальный интерес к
We
железным дорогам.
do
Я хочу
our
сказать,
best
что
to
музей
raise
железной дороги
interest to
это не
railways.
только
And I'd like to tell you that the
это гораздо
Railway Museum
более
is not
интересная
just about
и
trains.
расширенная история.
It is
Ну и, конечно,
something
несколько
much
причин,
broader
почему
than
нужно
that.
обязательно
And
приходить
there
к
are
нам,
several
почему нужно к нам
reasons
отправлять туристов.
why you need to come to us, why you need to send tourists to us. Because we are an amazing museum, interesting for girls and boys from 3 years old to 93 years old. There can be beautiful photo shoots for your Instagram. we have a great
потому что у нас
convenient
помимо
location
всего прочего есть
with our own
офигенное
parking
железнодорожное
area.
путь
And we have a
места
great
открытия экспресса-кафе, ну и, конечно же, естественно,
atmospheric cafe at the
сувениры всегда
dining
память.
car.
Но
And
если
of course,
все
you can get
не
some
так уж важно, а
souvenirs
вот больше
in the
мне здесь
local
не
shop.
девчонок, а мальчишек от 3 до
Maybe
11
it's
утра,
not so
это,
important. The
наверное,
most
история
important
такая
thing is that
действительно
this museum is
трогающая
interesting
душу
for girls
и
and boys
удивительная,
from
потому
3 to
что, казалось бы,
93 years
музей как
old.
поезда.
It's an
Он не про
amazing
поезда,
story
он про
because it
путешествия, он
seems
про
that
впечатления,
museum is
он
about
про
trains, but it's not about trains, it's about
возможности безграничные,
traveling,
что наш музей. Ну и цена,
impressions,
наверное, тоже
and unlimited
привлекательная, поскольку
opportunities.
это
And the
будние дни
price is also
туристические дни,
attractive,
это,
300
собственно,
rubles
выходные и
in
праздничные дни,
weekdays
ну а
and
для российских
400
друзей у нас
rubles
есть
in the
небольшое
weekend and on
предложение,
Fridays.
наверное, очень
And
интересное
we
для
have a
семей
special
и
offer
вместе
for
соответственные будние
children,
и выходные дни. Ну и
100 and
работаем мы,
200
как вы
rubles
видите,
in weekdays
6 дней
and
в неделю,
weekends
за
respectively.
исключением
As you
вторника.
see, we
Ну и,
work
собственно,
6
вот
days
как
per
раз
week
то
except
самое атмосферное кафе,
Tuesdays.
про которое я говорила, в
And
котором
this is
как
the
раз
atmospheric cafe
проводятся
I
какие-то
mentioned,
мероприятия, подстук
where
колес,
we
тем
have a
более
lot
мы
of
очень осторожно.
events.
Наше кафе не
You can hear
раскачивается,
the
да, для
wheels
имитации звука железной дороги, сопровождающий
making
прием
noise.
пищи, так что
Unfortunately, or maybe
беспокойное ощущение
fortunately, our
погружения
cafe
в
doesn't
это
roll
путешествие. Ну и, конечно же,
or
этот
vibrate,
звук такой
but there are noises of the
автомобильный,
railway,
не
so it's an
хотите
imitation
находиться
of a
внутри
travel.
вагона, но желаете
And
получить
if you don't
ароматный
want to
кофе,
be
можете присесть
inside
вот на такой стилизованной
a
платформе
passenger
и
car,
почувствовать себя где-нибудь
but you
в
would like to
Провансе,
drink
что в
a
данный
cup of
момент
coffee,
особенно ценно,
you
потому
can
что
have it
все мы мечтаем
here
и живем
at this
воспоминаниями о
table.
путешествиях и надеемся, что они скоро возобновятся.
It brings you
Конечно,
some
безусловно,
memories of
привести
travel. We
семью
hope
это
that
не то,
travel
что
will
очень и
start
очень
soon.
многим
Of course,
хочется и
it's
многие делают.
great
Ну а про музей про наш хочу
to
сказать, что
bring
мы
in some
музей,
memories.
который
And as
появился,
for
который был
our
построен
museum,
благодаря
I'd like to tell you that this
желанию очень
museum
большой корпорации,
was
корпорации РЖД. Однако мы
built
не просто
by
хотим
Russian
музей,
Railways,
музей,
a
который
very big
сохраняет,
company. But we are
который
not just
восстанавливает, который
a corporate
популяризирует
museum.
железные
We
дороги,
are a
железные
museum that
линии.
popularizes
Конечно, как вы понимаете, сейчас
railways
мы называемся Музей железных
in
дорог
all
России.
its
У нас
aspects.
экспонаты
We
собраны со
are
всего мира.
called the
Поэтому
Railway
и
Museum of
французский,
Russia,
и
but we have
английский, и
exhibits
американский
from all over the world. We
поезда,
have English,
и
French,
вагоны, и
Spanish and
локомотивы. Все,
American
что вы можете
units,
найти
wagons
в нашем
and carriages and
прекрасном музее.
locomotives. You
Конечно,
can find
мы
all of
помещаем
them
их в
in our
социальных
beautiful
сетях,
museum.
безусловно. У нас очень роскошно красивый, завлекательный Инстаграм.
And we have a wonderful Instagram account, and we are now gaining YouTube actively, and most of our videos are in Russian, but we are working on the foreign audience, the English-speaking audience, to be able to learn and read them and watch them, and we are customizing our contents accordingly. So, my dear friends, here you can see my contact details, and I will be more than happy to meet you face to face, online or offline. What for do you need to make friends with the Russian Railways Museum? Why do you need to bring your tourists over here? And why this new point on the tourist map of St. Petersburg is important? Believe me, when people are coming over to us, they think, okay, we can sweep it in 2 hours' time, but people always get back, and that's a pleasure. And secondly, it's not possible to spend at least 4 hours just for your information. Still, we have guided tours organized, and they last just 90 minutes, but then our visitors stay longer. They take their phones and photo cameras and take pictures. Nearly every exhibit has an information desk, and you can deep dive into that breathtaking world, and for me, it is a revelation. And for visitors, they see that sometimes they're skeptical, because what about trains, so what? But we are not only about trains. As I said, we are about travel, geography, politics, and culture. We have a lot of installations and a high-level, high-technology museum. You will never be disappointed, and your tourists will never be disappointed too. So, I look forward to meeting you, to get your feedback, to see your requests. Please call or drop me a line, and we'll look your tourists at the Museum of the Russian Railways. Thank you and have a good day.
Елена, огромное спасибо, очень интересно. Я на самом деле
Many thanks, Yelena. I visited that museum this year for the first time, and I was impressed. And when visiting St. Petersburg, this is a must, dear friends, because the first Russian railroad track appeared in St. Petersburg, and for Russia, Russian railways is a blood system, I would say. And we can learn Russia's history via railways. But let's go to Murmansk, the biggest city beyond the Arctic Circle. Just 2 hours from Moscow, you can get to Russian Arctic. You can see Aurora Borealis or polar lights there. You can get to the Barents Sea coast. And you can learn the indigenous people cuisine and culture. Here in the studio, we are having Victoria Maximova, a PR manager of Visit Murmansk Information Center, and Vitaly, the guide. So let's watch.
Good day. It's really wonderful to welcome you all at today's conference. We hope that our presentation will inspire you to visit the Murmansk region. And my colleague Vitaly is a professional Northern Lights hunter, and I am going to tell you about all the valuable and useful information that will help you plan your trip to the north of Russia. The Murmansk region, or the Kola Peninsula, is the most convenient location in Russia for observing the Northern Lights, and is the northernmost region of the European part of Russia, but still is easy to reach. The flight from Moscow takes 2.5 hours, and from St. Petersburg, just 1.5. Murmansk is the largest city in the world beyond the Arctic Circle and has a well-developed infrastructure, a huge number of hotels, restaurants, and museums. There is also the large ice-free port in Murmansk that's serving cargo and cruise liners all year round.
Okay, thank you, Victoria, for some introducing of our region. My name is Vitalia. I'm Aurora hunter for last 10 years, so now I will tell you some interesting facts about the hunting and what the Aurora is. So the Northern Lights is one of the visit cards of the Arctic. It's a natural phenomenon, and it is the most intelligent night activity in Murmansk, because restaurants and clubs can be closed, but nobody will take Aurora from you. So the thing that we call like a Aurora season or Northern Light season is a period from the end of August to the end of April. So it's half a year, and this is the longest period in the world when you can find and observe the Northern Lights. So there is some facts that you must know about this hunting. It's like what kind of these natural things can be collected. It's like a clear weather, of course, without any clouds, because clouds can hide it from you. The lack of city lights, you need to go far from the city. Usually we take from 10 to 100 kilometers. And of course, the magnetic storm must be very high. Now, with the index of Kp, we have this thing. It must be about 2 or 3 to see it. But don't forget that this Kp index is like an index all over the world. It's like in Kamchatka, it can be 6. In Canada, it can be 1. So it will be 3. So you need to check more things. It's like a proton density, like a speed of the solar wind, and the magnetic field disturbance. So when you can read it, you can make the special prediction of these Northern Lights. And when you have the special map of the clouds, you will see this spot when you can go. We have a lot of spots, and later we will show you. And when we go to these spots, we have the special safety places, because we cannot just stay on the roads. We need to stay in a safety place. And then we take the photos in front of the Aurora. I think you saw a lot of these good and great pictures when the people stand very joyful, and this aurora in the sky, like here on this slide. So yeah, and some top tips for aurora hunters. Well, you must be well equipped. You must buy a good parka suited for winter. Of course, you need a good pair of non-slip boots and woolen socks, maybe, and a pack of warm palm gloves too. And for my advice, it's better to take like some thermals suits, especially like a basic layer, because sometimes you need to stay half an hour and more, and when you stay without the movements, it's not so easy. And we recommend you to visit the Murmansk for at least 3 days to have some time for your waiting for the best conditions. Because for my experience, we had one group, they came here for 1 week, and it was very hard to find it. We tried every night and we saw it only on the 4th night. So sometimes it happens because it's natural phenomenon. We can make all the forecast, but it can change just in half an hour. Because when we are on the peninsula, so we are covered with the sea from the 3 sides of our land. And when the wind changes, the weather can change just in 20 minutes. You'll see like a completely clear sky is just covering with the clouds. So you need to understand this, and you must be well prepared for this. So, okay, Victoria.
Yeah, unfortunately, you cannot buy the ticket for this spectacular show, but when perfect conditions are created with careful planning and a little luck, you will be rewarded with a fantastic light spectacle in dark sky. One of the most breathtaking places from where you can admire the northern lights is in the heart of the Kola Peninsula, the high mountainous panoramic restaurant, 820 meters above the sea level. It's in Kirovsk, in the Hibina skiing resort Bigwood. It's the biggest one on the European part of Russia. And also the skiing season here is one of the longest. It's from November to May. So this restaurant commands panoramic view of Kirovsk, the Большой Дьявол Lake, and the mountain tops. You can taste the unique Arctic cuisine while enjoying the beauty of aurora. And the great opening of the restaurant is gonna be soon. And for the pitch-perfect northern experience, you can stay at Aurora Village Glamping, which is located 49 kilometers away from Murmansk. Just imagine staying comfy in a warm bed in your glass igloo in the middle of tundra, watching the Aurora Borealis. Plus, you can not only admire the northern lights, but also have a great time doing activities like snowmobiles, hot tub, and skis. Or you can immerse into the unique surroundings of tundra. Lavozero is the top destination of Kola Peninsula for Aurora Borealis viewing. You can also visit the most convenient locations for self-observation of aurora. With the help of special information signs that installed along the road on the way to Finland, Riberka, and Norway. And while you're waiting for aurora, you can experience other entertainment activities. For example, try the Arctic cuisine. The Murmansk region is a real paradise for gourmets. Sea urchins and scallops, crabs, and if you want something completely unusual, then try the moss. Yes, the one that reindeers eat. It's widely used in Arctic cuisine. Another very popular tourist destination is the Snow Village in Kirovsk, an impressive structure made of ice and snow with a beautiful illumination. It's open from December until the end of April. And, of course, Sami Village, where you can meet the indigenous people of the Kola Peninsula, the Sami, and even go reindeer sledding, and it's truly unique, unforgettable experience.
So now we send you like a warm hello from this very cold Russian north. And now let's watch a very short but very exciting live video of the aurora of the Northern Lights. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. I visited Murmansk last December, and I received from a 3-day tour, and I had a great feeling. And the deep dive that I experienced in the Arctic, just 2 hours from Moscow by plane, it is worthy to do. And we are going eastward now. 90 minutes by plane or 2 days by train, and we are in Tatarstan, the Republic of Tataria, the mosque, Tatar cuisine, and Ivan Grozny history. And now we are going to show you the unique facility on the Volga River bank, the Great Bulgar Museum Reserve. The speaker is Zulfiya Akhmadulina, the Visit Tatarstan interpreter and representative. Let's watch.
1,000 years ago, on the banks of the Volga River, lay a great city-state, the largest in Eastern Europe, an international center of trade, politics, culture, and science. That city was called Bulgar, the birthplace of Islam in Russia and the cradle of the modern Tatar people. The first settlers appeared in Bulgar over 1,000 years ago and established a settlement which soon turned into the biggest trade city on the Volga River and a crossroads of culture. A mission from the Baghdad Caliph arrived in Bulgar in 922. It is written that the daughter of Bulgarian Emir Almush was sick and that Muslim missionaries cured her. Emir Almush was amazed by the power of Allah, so he adopted Islam, which brought new life to Bulgar. Bulgar thrived economically, politically, and culturally. Soon Bulgar was filled with scientists, philosophers, poets, and scholars. Merchants from all over the world came here to trade. Larger than London or Paris at the time, it was a peaceful home to over 50,000 people of all nationalities and religions. New knowledge was emerging in Bulgar. Astronomers studied the skies, doctors explored the human body. But eventually, tragedy fell upon Bulgar. The city was invaded, first by Mongolian Khan Batu, then Tamburlaine burnt the city to the ground, and finally Vasily the Dark, great prince of Moscow, completely destroyed it. Once powerful and thriving, the life of Bulgar faded away. Today, the ancient city of Bulgar is one of the most famous historical centers in Tatarstan and in all of Russia. In fact, it has recently been added to the prestigious UNESCO World Heritage List. Muslims from all over the world visit Bulgar. The White Mosque and the memorial sign were built to commemorate 11 centuries since the adoption of Islam. In the memorial sign, you will find a unique exhibit, the largest printed Quran in the world. Bulgar is a place as close to the hearts of the Tatar people as the words of the famous poet Kolgali. Here religions and cultures peacefully coexist. Bulgar is the perfect place for anyone who wants to immerse themselves in history. Not just Muslims or Christians, everyone will want to come to experience this historical treasure. To reveal the past of this ancient civilization, to see its present, and witness the future of this great city, come visit the ancient city of Bulgar.
Well, Thank you very much. On behalf of the State Committee on Tourism of Republic of Tatarstan, let me greet you all from here, from our republic. And actually, my objective is to introduce you and to give you brief information about the ancient city of Bulgar. As it was mentioned in video, the place with millennial history, with the great historical background and one of the most popular tourist destinations of the last years here in our region and actually in Russia as well. It's not far away from Moscow. As you know, Kazan is 800 kilometers away from Moscow. So Bulgar from Kazan is 170 kilometers away, actually very close. And the location is on the left bank of Volga River, so you can approach Volga by riverway or by buses. And in 2014, it was included into the heritage list of UNESCO. So that place important not for us only, but for the worldwide history as well. And it is an ancient settlement, which is now the Bulgar Reserve and Open Air Museum. Yes, so it is the place includes monuments of Golden Horde period, which is 13th century, 14th century, Genghis Khan periods, and so on. So we have remnants there, such as mausoleums, Khan's palace, city baths, or cathedral mosque. Of course, there are after reconstruction and repair facilities. It is quite a beautiful place on the beautiful landscape because it's an open area, let's say, tour, and quite in a big territory. So it's especially in summer period in beautiful weather, it's quite a good idea to walk around to see these ancient stones, ancient remnants, and it is really very exciting. Besides, yes, there is a museum in Bulgar, Museum of Bulgar Civilization, with a lot of artifacts. Of course, it's an archaeological museum, very modernly equipped with screens, multimedia screens, and so on. Of course, we have guided tours in different languages because it's quite a popular place among foreign tourists as well, not only for Russian tourists. We have multimedia facilities and we have guides speaking different languages. Yes, so here in the picture you can see yurt-like building. Actually, there are 7 levels inside, and 3 levels of that building, actually, it's museum of Bulgar civilizations, and telling the story from very deep antiquity till today, till nowadays Bulgar. There are models of these, old buildings and so on, so you can imagine how it looked like in the history in different periods of the time. It's very nice and very smartly organized museum. Another attraction of the Bulgar, especially for tourists from Islamic countries, actually for everybody, is the biggest printed book of Quran from Guinness World Records, because it's really huge, it's really big piece of book with cover only 2 meters and a meter and a half, encrusted with semi-treasurable stones and so on. And it was placed in special buildings. I mean, a special building for, it was built specially, let's say, for that book. That's why it's another museum. So one more museum in Bulgar is the Quran Museum. And you see the building with the gold cupola. So that is a building where this biggest Quran is placed. Well, among the objects to visit in Bulgar is the complex of White Mosque. Actually, it's a new one. It was built in 2013, but immediately became an architectural symbol. Usually when in presentations, when you will see Bulgar, you will see this picture look like Taj Mahal. Of course, it's not Taj Mahal. It is White Mosque here in Kazan, in Tatarstan, in the ancient settlement of Bulgar. So one of the attractions of Bolgar is this beautiful architecture. Although it's modern, but still it is really representing or recreating this beautiful atmosphere of the history of Bolgar. But not only reconstructed buildings and remnants what makes Bolgar interesting and so popular among visitors and among tourists. Last few decades we have, or let's say the Bolgar became the platform for event tourism as well. Different festivals, for example, every year on May we have celebration of anniversary of adopting Islam in Volga region, because Bolgar is considered to be the birthplace, like the place where Islam spread in Russia in the history. That's why we have all sorts of celebrations, or like here in picture you can see the reconstruction of medieval fights, not only belong to Bulgar civilization, all sorts of fights, but Bulgar is the perfect platform for organizing such facilities and such an event. So it is very popular for also activities with the participation of a lot of people, and actually for locals and for tourists it's really very exciting and very expected let's say festival. So that is what we can see here in Bulgar. And what else? So yes, finally the geographical location I'm sorry, of the place makes it possible to visit Bolgar by Volga River. Every season during the navigation, a lot of cruise ships have their stops during, let's say, their route by Volga and Kama River. By the way, just close to Bolgar, it's a fantastic landscape, because here we have meeting place of two rivers and Kama, and the width of the Kama River here is 45 kilometers. So we call that place Kama Sea, because it's really very beautiful, very wide. You cannot see the opposite bank of the river, and that's why it is quite a good idea to see the beauty of our natural beauty of our region as well. It's just on the area close to Bulgar, or during the trip from Kazan to Bulgar, we pass this territory, and it's really very exciting and very impressive. Yes, so this natural beauty of the place and the historical importance filled with a lot of activities lead to the development of high quality recreation as well. In 2018, Kolgali Resort and Spa 5 stars hotels was opened. Here on the picture we can see the interiors of the hotel Kolgali. As it was mentioned in the video, Kolgali is the name of ancient poet, very symbolical representative of Bulgar period literature. So the hotel was named after him. And yes, for those tourists who decide to stay in Bulgar, there are a lot of comfortable opportunities like Kolgali Resort, Spa, like another hotel. So it is quite nicely organized nowadays, and it became very popular, especially last few decades, Bulgar growing in such sense. So it's considered to be sort of, let's say, from the fairy tale of 1001 Nights, Bulgar is, let's say, if Tatarstan, if Kazan is the meeting place of two civilizations, Russian and Turkic Tatar, like Islam and Orthodoxy, so Bulgar is exactly this Islamic representative of this meeting, of this influence, let's say, synthesis. Yes. And we will be very glad to welcome you and your guests, your tourists here in Kazan, in ancient city of Bulgar. So please welcome. We'll be very glad to see you all here. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Rahmet, Zulfiya. We have more than 160 nationalities, and the Tatar culture is among the largest. To be in Russia and not to visit Tatarstan is wasted time, I would say. I have misled you, because from Moscow to Tatarstan is just one night. It's not two nights or 1.5 hours by plane. And Tatarstan is nearly completing the high-speed highway, because Russian roads are improving now. So I would say that road tourism is developing. The roads are getting better, the retail stations and fuel stations are not in short supply as before, and you can travel across Russia with comfort by car. And now we are flying to real Siberia, 2.5 hours from Moscow to Tyumen by plane, and less than 2 days on the train, and we are in the capital of Siberia. Tyumen, Rasputin Museum, hot springs and crude oil. We are now having Maria Trofimova from tourist region of Tyumen. Let's watch. Good afternoon, dear friends. I'm happy to welcome you, and I'm going to visit to Siberia and the travel that would give you a very good
It is the Tyumen region that starts this nice and mysterious part of Russia that everyone calls Siberia. And when foreign guests come to Russia, they say, "Wow, Siberia." Many people think that the Tyumen region and Siberia are far, far away, that it is very cold here, and that we are an industrial area. But actually, we are closer than you probably think, and we are available because we have the Trans-Siberian Railway, and our guests who love traveling by train can come to us. But the easiest way is to get to us by plane. And every year there are flights from Moscow and St. Petersburg to the airports of our region, Tyumen and Tobolsk. From Moscow, the flight takes about 2 hours, from St. Petersburg, a bit more than 3 hours. So you can actually plan your visit to Russia by visiting Moscow, St. Petersburg, and of course Siberia. I'd like to add that the most important that is noticed by many guests is that when people go to Siberia, they think that this is just one big green landscape. But it's not like that. Actually, there is the entire infrastructure developed. There is a developed network of regional roads. There are nice hotels from international chains. There are tourist class hotels. Everything is ready to make sure that our guests, our tourists, feel comfortable. Talking about the Siberian gastronomy, it's a very important aspect of every travel. It is in Siberia that you can taste delicious food that is unique to Siberia. There are 4 types of tsar fish, and you can try any meat, even the bear or the reindeer or the wild boar. And furthermore, you can also try different types of berries that our cook prepare in different dishes and desserts. Today, the Siberian cuisine is reviving, and many restaurants have prepared a menu in English, a special Siberian menu, and many guests from different countries would love it to try some local Siberian specialties. Talking about traveling, of course, the traveling starts from the first city in Siberia, Tumen. Siberia is a vast area which used to take two-thirds of Russia, and historically, Siberia started in Tumen, which is why they say that Tumen is the gateway to Siberia. Tumen is a modern and convenient city with a lot of promenades, a lot of walking areas, a beautiful embankment. There are historical quarters. You can see nice Tumen architecture. You can get a taste of our history. And you can have independent walks. There are different services. There are audio guides that you can download. There are special applications such as Visit Tumen. And those who would like to plunge into a real immersive story can enjoy the interesting theater excursions where you can meet different historical characters on the streets of our city. After these extensive programs, there should be some rest for your body and soul, which is why we invite you to our thermal centers. There are more than 20 of them today in Tumen and beyond it, which are quite accessible. Not more than 10 kilometers away from Tumen, there is natural mineral water coming from beneath the earth. These are warm sources up to 30 or 40 degrees Celsius, and they help people re-establish their reserves. And traditionally, from November till April, there are the best thermal seasons because there is a snowy winter, the temperature is below zero, and it is very nice to be in the open air in hot mineral water. And then we go to the ancient capital of Siberia. Not many people know where the word Siberia comes from. Tobolsk is the ancient capital of Siberia. It was built in the or near the Siberia River. It's a very small river, just 7 kilometers long, and Tobolsk used to be called the gateway to Asia, and it was the third capital in the Russian Empire after Moscow and St. Petersburg. It's a historical city. This city has beautiful panoramic views. It has a white stone Kremlin. On the merge of two beautiful Russian rivers, Tobol and Irtysh, there are more than 20 museum facilities here. There are unique expositions which will tell you a story about the great Russian scientist Dmitry Mendeleev, who was born here, as well as the author Yershov, who wrote a well-known fairy tale about Humpy Horse. There were many authors who visited this city. There is a theme park which was opened in 2019. It's a historical platform for shooting films. You can wear some costumes and feel like a resident of the 19th century Siberian city. Tobol is full of special energy, and it has a great legacy. There is another very interesting place, Pokrovskaya village, the homeland of Grigory Rasputin. People usually say that Rasputin is one of the most famous Russians. He's known all over the world. Rasputin was born in a faraway Siberian village, and he walked a lot to get to school, and he became the friend of Russian Emperor Nicholas II. The Pokrovskaya village features a private house which used to belong to Rasputin, and there is a museum dedicated to Rasputin there. And furthermore, there is an ancient chair in this museum, and according to the legend, if you sit on this chair, you will have great career growth, and a lot of people come to this village just to sit on this chair.
Если кто-то хочет праздника, то тогда добро пожаловать на сибирский карнавал. В городе Елуторовске,
Siberian carnivals are held every weekend in the village of, in the town of Yalutorovsk, and there are unique Siberian holidays which were traditionally held here. You can bake a giant pancake. You can try some Siberian cuisine. You can participate in master classes, do something with your own hands, and you can enjoy the well-known Siberian hospitality. What will you remember about your trip to Siberia? Of course, most impressions are given by those unforgettable emotions that you will have throughout your life. This is the unique nature, the beautiful taiga, the wide spaces, amazing routes. A trip to Siberia is often associated with something amazing, with adventures that are unique in your life. I'd like to tell you that Siberia is love for your life. You see it and you fall in love with it. So all guests, particularly foreign guests that come to us, always share their best impressions. They tell us that they never thought that there are cities in Siberia. Our foreign guests think that they say that they think that Siberia is just a huge area of wood, and then they see those beautiful cities and they get recharged with this Siberian energy, because in the Russian language there is the expression Siberian health or Siberian hospitality, which is why we invite all our guests to Siberia. And this will be a unique time, magical impressions, and unforgettable emotions that you can get here. Most importantly, I'd like to emphasize that today our guests from various countries will enjoy nice services such as audio guides in foreign languages, logistics centers, information centers, tourist centers, menus in foreign languages in restaurants, English-speaking personnel, which is why our tourists will find it very comfortable. They will feel Siberia from inside, and they will be able to understand that Siberia is much closer and warmer, and that it's very hospitable. Thank you very much. Here are my contacts. You can contact me, you can send me questions. We have tour operators that are ready to welcome tourists from various countries. Thank you.
first come to Siberia, I'm first astonished that there are people here, there are real buildings, it's a real place, and everyone I touch is a real person, real Siberian.
Я знала, что Сибирь тепло принимает, что здесь живут хорошие люди.
You know, we look for something special from our point of view, and that was really, I loved it.
Thank you, Maria. Indeed, Siberia is a very warm place, first of all because of its people. And what we show you today is not just pretty pictures that we did for foreigners. This is how we live. It's comfortable and safe. Regarding comfort, in almost every city of Russia there are nice hotels, 3 to 5 hotels. So you don't need to worry when sending tourists to Russian cities. In any place where there is a good traffic of tourists, you will always find comfortable hotels. Of course, in some villages, maybe it's more simplistic, but in most of Russia, this issue is resolved. And now we move on to Baikal, the deepest lake on the planet. Baikal is located in two regions of Russia, the Buryatia region and another one. And we will give Anatoly Kazakevich from the spheres of Baikal, who is involved in tourism development. Let's see. Hello, colleagues. Hello. I welcome you from the city of Irkutsk, from the shores of Baikal Lake. I would like to tell you about the most important thing that we have on Baikal. It's Baikal ice, of course. There are a lot of tourists coming to the Baikal Lake in winter. It's the most attractive place in the winter period, and you can see beautiful ice at the beginning of February, when the ice on Baikal Lake is pretty strong, but it's still transparent because by the end of March most of Baikal is covered with snow, and it's not in all the places that you can find clean ice. Northern Lights were mentioned today. There are Northern Lights hunters, but there are also professional ice hunters. That is, professional ice guides who always bring our tourists to the most beautiful places, where you can see what you are seeing on the screen now. A small video about how you can have some rest on Baikal in wintertime. Some people believe that this is extreme vacation, but actually we ensure complete comfort. We have hotels that have 3, 4 or 5 stars on the shores of Baikal, and will show the most beautiful places to our tourists and ensure their safety. And you can also take note that it is not safe to move on the ice on cars. We only have special boats that ensure your full safety. And now the video clip. Thank you very much for attention. I will continue our story about Baikal ice. Many people ask us how thick this ice is, because on the photos it is completely transparent, and it seems that this is some very thin ice. But in actual fact, Baikal ice can be up to 1 meter, and it can even be 2 meters thick. And we have a lot of differences in daily temperatures, so it can be plus 10 degrees in the sun in the afternoon, and at night time the temperature can go down to minus 25 degrees Celsius. At that time we are in a comfortable hotel, and there are big cracks on the ice that can be 5 to 10 meters wide or even 7 meters wide. And in daytime, when the temperature goes up, the ice expands, and you can see how ice moves. There is a lot of noise, and it's really very interesting. On these photos you can see that Baikal ice is very different. It is unique. There are 5 photos here, but every time I travel on Baikal ice, it never repeats. I travel by different means. This ice is always different. It is never the same. And for those who would like to have some unique impressions, I recommend you to spend a night on Baikal ice. You can walk across Baikal, or you can use special scooters or special boats, and you can organize a night's rest on Baikal ice. And this is something really impressive. There is this ongoing cracking of the ice. You think that it will fall, but it is really safe. And Baikal is a very expansive lake. It's up to 50 kilometers wide. It's a huge, unbelievably beautiful desert. And on the shores there are some rocks, and they are also beautiful. There are different periods in which you can see different scenes. For example, you have the beginning of the ice season. For example, in some places you can see ice even before the New Year, and in February a lot of nice ice. And in March it is already pretty warm. As for the activities you can have on Baikal ice, the most interesting thing is traveling on dog sleds, dog sledding. You can also have helicopter tours, and you can enjoy the beautiful geography of Baikal. Baikal is 600 kilometers long. It's about the same distance as from Moscow to St. Petersburg. And the shoreline expands to about 2,000 kilometers, and a helicopter will help you visit the most beautiful sites within a few days. Or you can have some short tours up to 30 minutes. And there is a special event, golf on ice. We even had ice championships. And you can organize group championships for groups starting from 10 people. It's a unique and beautiful impression. And you can also walk on special ice skis, which is also very interesting. There are also special ice cars, and there are one-day routes on the ice of Baikal, and there are routes that take 3 to 5 days. You can even have a trip around the whole Baikal lake. Of course, there is also some under ice fishing. there is a well-known fish called omol in Baikal. And we also have another event which is called Baikal Kiss. And there are beautiful, amazing photo sessions on Baikal ice. There are a lot of photos shot on Baikal ice in the social media. And there is also a special service, a steam bathhouse on Baikal ice, where you have a hole in the ice and you can take a swim in this open hole in Baikal with a real Russian bathhouse. It's an amazing impression. And also please take note of the pureness of our beautiful lake. The water is really transparent. In winter you can see 40 meters deep. You can throw a coin and see how it falls through the water down to 40 meters. And you can measure this length. This is unique. When you take a swim in this water after the steam bathhouse, it's a completely different impression from what you can see in the city or in the shower. Ice skating. The Baikal Lake is the hugest skating rink in the world, and you can have a lot of trips on Baikal, on skates. You can enjoy some skating with children, with your family, and it's really beautiful. And there are special impressions that everyone is crazy about. We have a special program with our partners, which is called Fire. There are some musical instruments, there is special transport, so you can have some corporate events. You can even arrange a nice camp. You can see those houses on Baikal ice. Of course, it's not a hotel, it's rather some glamping, and it's really environmentally friendly, and the ice is still ideally clean after the houses are taken away from it. Also, there are some catering events and picnics in those wild conditions in the open air on Baikal. There is Siberian cuisine with great service, but also with the special Russian samovar and nice tea. So everyone is kept warm and really glad. And I would like to tell you about one more project that we are implementing in the city of Irkutsk. Irkutsk is one of the arrival points at Baikal Lake. This is the Alaska Hotel, or Baikal Alaska Hotel. It will be commissioned in May. There are 73 rooms there. It's a 3-star hotel, and at the same time this hotel in itself is a nice geographic tour around Russia up to Kamchatka. Historically it was connected with the Irkutsk region, and this topic is also interesting to our guests, to all who come to Baikal. And here everyone can get some general excursion information about this route. You can organize those tours. Here you can see the contacts, and my colleague is Anastasia, who has been in our team for more than 10 years. She organizes the tours, so please contact her. And we are accepting Russian and foreign groups of tourists. Welcome to the Baikal region. Thank you. Thank you very much, Anatoly. I envy those who were here in summer. I haven't seen winter ice on Baikal yet. It seems that Baikal Lake is far away from Moscow, but here you can pay with a credit card in any hotel, in any restaurant, or almost any cafe, or even on a small market where some old ladies are trading some souvenirs. You can pay with your card. It's very convenient. It works across Russia. And we are moving on to our next point in Russia, that is Kamchatka, just 8 hours trip from Moscow, 8 hours of flight, and Kamchatka is the easternmost part of Russia. There are some nice geysers and there are unique regions, and Tatiana, Deputy Director for Environmental Education and PR, will tell us more about it. Let's watch it.
Hello, dear friends. I hope that the Valley of Gazers pictures and video was impressive for you and you would like to go to Kamchatka. I'm sorry for a technical pause, but still, the Valley of Gazers is located in the Kamchatka territory peninsula on the territory of Kronotsky Natural Reserve. And here on the map you can see the location. The distance from Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, capital of the territory, to Kronotsky Reserve is 200 kilometers, and you can get there by helicopter only. It is about 1 hour 10 minutes by helicopter. What is worth mentioning about the Valley of Gazers? This is the largest geographical discovery of the last century. It was discovered despite the fact that the natural reserve had been there for a long time. It was discovered in 1941 only, and it became a pearl not only for Kamchatka, but for the entire Russia. It is located, as I said, in the Biosphere Natural Reserve, so you have to keep all the rules. Usually in the natural reserves, but being in the Valley of Gazers, you can feel the entire power of the Kamchatka land. You can witness all biothermal things from hot springs, hot lakes, and grease or slush puddles, hot ones as well. The Valley of Gazers is a World Heritage UNESCO site, and this is it belongs to Kamchatka volcanoes. It is located in a natural park, which is part of the Man and Biosphere program. We have a question very often that does it exist, because it was discovered long ago, and there were a lot of natural disasters. In 2007 there was the slush mudslide, and you can see pictures of that time, and we really thought that this wonder of Russia and the world would cease to exist. And many tourists still think so, but again, the valley is like a girl who always changes its behavior, and the nature takes it all. And after two mudslides in 2020, you can see the picture, the rightmost picture. The valley looks like that, and every time you get there, you can see that it's always changing. The landscapes are changing all the time, and it is worth visiting not once or twice, but a few times. Here you can see the geothermal things like mud pots, geysers, warm lakes. There are 58 major geysers. There are only 5 geyser fields in the world, and ours is the only in Eurasia. Why is it special, better in some way that Yellowstone Park, for instance? It's very compact. All their geothermal activities are located in one place. You don't have to travel all day long, 100 kilometers to reach the next geyser. You just need to make a few steps to see the other one. And we have a guaranteed major geyser that erupts once every hour, and every group of tourists would have a chance to see it. What else is important for Valley of Geyser tourism? We have a special type of tourism, environmental one, not just for you to take a look, but to see and understand how important it is to preserve the nature of our country and our region. And you could probably get something back home from us in terms of environmental tourism. What else is interesting to learn about the vegetation? There are some species which are in the Red Book of Russia. This is the Ehrman's birch. It is 300 years old, and that birch was the winner of the Natural Monuments competition, and the whole Russia knows it now. The orchid, the central picture, the Chinese orchid, is being witnessed by tourists from all over the world. They're coming there to see it. But besides, speaking about the tourist season and the geyser season, it lasts from May through October, the so-called high tourist season. But you can also see how important is the place for the animal world. In May-June, there is a waiting season for Russian bears. After hibernation, bears come over there to eat first grass, and you can see and watch such wonderful things there. And the thing attracts video cameramen, and the geyser valley becomes a part of attraction for documentaries of all over the world. A few Soviet films were filmed there, and you can still see it. In terms of infrastructure, the soils are thermal, and it is not safe to walk without special pavements. We have wooden ladders and special walkways. The length is 1 kilometer, and the route is just 1 kilometer. As for the time, you can stay there about 2 hours. This is an excursion group. You can go there by helicopter. The average group, it depends on the helicopter capacity, but it's about 23 visitors and 1 ranger. So the excursions are conducted in an organized way, and there is a special inspector that accompanies the group who oversees the safety and environmental rules as well, because there are quite a lot of wild animals there, and the ranger is there too with a gun. So we look forward to getting you at the Geyser Valley. If you have any questions, please go ahead. And this is the place worth mentioning and visiting once in a lifetime at least. These are my contact details, the Kronotsky Reserve National Park contacts and my contacts too. And our website will give you more information on us. Thank you very much indeed, Tatiana. That's really good. Our visitors and watchers, I'm very happy that you are here with us. And the picture of Russia, that it's not only balalaika or caviar, you know more about this country. And you know Tatarstan, Tyumen, Baikal and Kamchatka. And it is my pleasure to know that you will be able to share this experience, and it's my pleasure to see you, to welcome you to Russia. And at the moment, this country is very comfortable in terms of traveling. We have good roads, modern airports, nice trains. Major cities are safe. We have high-quality hotels, including world-class ones, and we will be telling you about this all day long today. But let's meet in 30 minutes' time. We are going to have a formal opening, a lot of high-profile guests, so let's break for 30 minutes. I will familiarize you and introduce you to those people who make Russia modern, safe, and who make the product that would be interesting for you and for your tourists. Stay with us and let's meet in 30 minutes time.